Okay, this is a flat Earth video about the Imperial Valley. Um, what I did is I went to Walmart and I brought a level and I put it on the trunk of my car until I to find what is level and what would hopefully be the horizon or the vanishing point of a level plane. And then I compared that to the actual horizon, and then I compared that to a windmill that is 23.2 miles away. And so uh, this is where I was standing. I was standing over here, which is it's just north El Centro. It's roughly negative 39 feet below. It's 39 feet below sea level, and then it could be a little higher than that. Though it doesn't. I mean, these elevations are and then I measured it using Google Maps. The distance was 23.21 miles to the very first windmill, and then this is where Ocotillo is. Ocotillo is at 377 feet above sea level. So, I mean, I guess it's a lot of information, but what I tried draw. I have the video. I'll show the video clips, but I had to I had to use paint to kind of demonstrate things. So this is the level on the trunk of the car, and I'm sitting slightly below the level of the field. It seems, because when I make it so that it's level, and then you look down the flat side of the level, it kind of points just below the horizon that the field creates. And so the way that I demonstrated that, because it's really hard to do that with the camera. Like the camera doesn't want to focus on both the far and near very easily. I probably, and I couldn't even see what I was doing because the sun was pretty bright, and I was just I made this really long video and I was moving around a whole bunch. So I just paused this one frame, and this is roughly the height of the nearest side of the level. And the level's not even, it's not level, it's only level from the near side to the far side. And so then I put a line going down the side of the level and then intersecting with the top of the other side. And then I kind of used my memory a little bit, and I knew that it was going slightly below the horizon, and so I drew this gray line to kind of imitate the level of what would be a flat plane if it continued on at eye level. And so to put it in perspective with this haystack in the distance, I drew a line from the top of the haystack to the bottom, and then I drew it from the level of the field to the bottom, and so the line roughly goes somewhere around there. Okay, so now that we know our level, we went to okay, so that's our level horizon. Where is my other picture? Sorry. Okay. So this is another picture from the, and it shows the windmills. So these are the windmills, and the windmill is roughly watching wannabe porn on YouTube. Sorry, but the windmills are. Dang it. Can't. I gotta really focus here. Alright, so these windmills are the height of. God. Oh, Jesus. they're 173 foot for one of the the one for one blade. But I had see these. This one's saying that it's 450 feet tall, which is pretty big. I don't think they're 450 feet tall, like especially if the blade's only 173 feet. But anyway, this one says 450, whatever. But like, we'll just yeah, because you can see the blades, and the blades are less than 200 feet. So, well, I mean, I guess they're saying from you know, but anyway, we'll just say it's 400, somewhere between 400 and 450 feet for that distance right here, and then that will easily fit in the distance from the level I. Oh, so what I did right here is I copied and pasted this gray line that went from the top right here to the bottom, and then I just drew a square around that, and I pasted it to right here, so I can so I can see that gray line again. And like I said, and it's not terribly exact. It's somewhere in between the height of the field and this gray line is where a level plane would be cutting through the image, and so that's the height of the camera, and like it would be the vanishing point. So the top of the field is just slightly higher than. Anyway, this 400-foot windmill would fit just above the lowest point of what I would assume, and so knowing that the Earth, if the Earth were curved at a distance of 23.2 miles, all right, whatever, at a distance of 23.2 miles, it's going to be a parabola. So that 23.2 times 23.2 is going to be 538 square miles squared times 8 inches. So you're going to have a drop of four, that many inches, whatever. So put it into feet. It's going to be 358 or 360 feet roughly, right? And that's kind of interesting because like the elevation of Ocotillo is 377 feet. So the bottoms of this red line, which is kind of depicting the height of the windmills, is roughly at the elevation of 377 feet. And then these windmills are roughly, one thing said 450, another one says like 440, 430. So we'll just say 400 feet. And then this represents the level of the camera, or even if it were this, the top of the field maybe, but like this is obviously above this kind of horizon or eye level. So if the Earth were flat, you would expect the windmills to be above eye level at 400 feet above eye level, because El Centro is negative 39 feet. But like this is kind of northern El Centro. I mean, well, it's somewhere below, in between 39 and 0, negative 39 and 0. And so when you look at these windmills, you can tell that they're quite a bit above the horizon. You can, and then you can see that they look to be around 400 feet above the level of the camera at this distance. And so, if the Earth were flat, like it would roughly make sense. But if the Earth were curved, these windmills would have to be 300 feet lower. So maybe the whole height of the windmill would be down here, if that would make any sense. So the whole like flat versus curve, like it looks a little bit more flat than curved, according to like if the and a parabola is how you describe uh like the curving of a circle. Because Isaac Newton uh, discovered calculus, and he used a parabola from an upside down parabola, a negative parabola, to with a radius from the origin of 1, and then it intersected with 1 on the x-axis, and he just integrated from 0 to 1 on this upside down parabola, and he multiplied by 4 and got 15 significant digits of pi by hand, proving that a parabola is very accurate for describing the curvature of a circle. So anyway, like that's why we use a parabola to describe, or you can think of it trigonometrically with a sine and cosine, creating one curve above and then one curve below, and then they're basically, it's the curve of a hypotenuse, which is finding a square, which is basically a parabola. So it's a parabola up and then a parabola down, and it just keeps repeating. And when you combine them together, it creates a perfect circle. Anyway, so we knew about parabolas ever since the Pythagoreans, or the 500 BC, and maybe even earlier. So this math is ancient math, but like it's definitely it's useful for understanding curvature. And then if you want to say that the Earth is curved, then you can actually measure this stuff. It would have been more difficult back in the day. They probably didn't have telescopes, or this is just a camera with a 30 times zoom lens, so it's like anybody can do it today with anyway, yeah, you can obviously see the windmills, and I think that should be about it. Yeah, if the Earth were flat, the windmills would be roughly 400 feet above the eye level, which, I mean, you can even say that the top of this field is eye level, but like when I looked through it, like I was amazed, like it went through the slightly below the height of the field, but you can just imagine that, and then the windmill would still be, if the Earth were flat, starting it's starting above that kind of like horizon, or that plane. If the Earth were curved, it would drop down, the Earth would curve down 360 feet, but then the height of Ocotillo is almost 400 feet, or it's 400 feet taller, so then it would be 50 feet above. And so the fact that the windmills are even higher than 50 feet above the level of the camera, or the level of the field, like it just it shows either the Earth is bigger than 25,000 miles around, or it's we just see further than what we expect to see on a 25,000 mile circumference Earth. Anyway, this video is for Leo, because Leo lives in El Centro, and he claims he can't see these windmills, which is fine. Like, you don't have to see them, but like he thinks that the flat Earth argument is like the worst conspiracy theory ever, and I think it's funny because you can go out and see it without having to go anywhere if you live in El Centro, or if you live on the coast, or if you live wherever. Like, anyone can do it, and it's something that is interesting. But like, I mean, you don't have to distrust NASA and all that other stuff. Like, you can still believe in the moon landing and everything. It's just that maybe we haven't discovered the or given enough like information about why we can see this far. And like it could be light being bent by gravity, it could be refraction of the atmosphere, it could be like water vapor, water vapor refraction of the water vapor, and like there's like so many things that you can say about this. Like, but my point is that it appears to be flat, and like that just sounds so funny because it's like the Earth is flat. I seen it. It's flat. And like it's like anybody can claim that, and it's just so I don't see why like it shouldn't be. People shouldn't get upset over it, but I think people should definitely look and uh, and like and then on the other hand, so I mean, there's positive, and negative thinking. Positive like is trust, negative is mistrust, and uh, you can mistrust NASA, the government, the schools, all of basically society, and that's okay. But that's it causes a lot of anxiety. And then on the other hand, you can trust everything. And then the only thing is when you overly trust something that is not that will eventually fail, then you'll have an emotional outburst. And uh, so it's like so if you're very skeptical, you're preventing yourself from having that emotional outburst. If you're very trusting, then you're setting yourself up for an emotional outburst. But I mean, we fall somewhere in between, and we know that, or what we can do is we can look at all of our emotional outbursts, and then recognize that there is something that we overly trusted and then failed. And so, like in any kind of emotional outburst, and but that the emotional outburst is very important because that's what changes our lives. I mean, it doesn't change it. Like it's inevitable when we overly trust something that it will uh, cause an emotional outburst. The emotional outburst would, maybe inspire us to move or do something or whatever. And so they don't change. It's just inevitable that like it's an influential, overly trust thing, and uh, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with being well, if you're too skeptical, you'll die a little bit fast. Nietzsche died really quickly at the age of 42, and he didn't believe in anything, and so he didn't trust anything. And so, and I really like this argument because it really made me feel a little bit like I was a little mean to Christians. Like I don't think of myself as a mean person, but I would argue with Christians about free will and about uh, I'd use scientific arguments. I'd use the the Discovery Channel and stuff like that, and my argument was no different than them using the biblical argument. It's just I'm just regurgitating one piece of information, and they're regurgitating another from a different perspective, and then uh, I think we're just measuring our capacity to memorize and then compare and then argument, which is great. That's very stimulating. I totally like that. But then on the other hand, it's also like I mean those aren't really what those aren't really the beliefs. Those are beliefs that we've been like told and not like it's not necessarily uh, like I think this is closer to science than just regurgitating like stuff out of a book, or this is closer to spirituality, and that's why it's interesting because I think I can convince an atheist that mistrusts the media and the government to be Christian by talking about 9/11 and how the media on 9/11 supported one view and then outcasted the any other view calling it a conspiracy. And so every aspect of the media that did that kind of flagged themselves as being uh, not credible to someone that's obviously a conspiracy theorist, and then or that supports an alternative opinion or idea of what may have happened to the World Trade Centers, which are 500,000 ton structures that turned into dust in 9 seconds. That like probably like I mean fire fire is very powerful, but it's not like that. That's like almost that's like beyond nuclear, uh, like breaking down those concrete and iron into that fine of a dust. I mean, that's like a whole other amazing thing. Anyway, uh, so the so someone that would notice that would then would then start questioning the media, and then after that, like people started like criticizing the moon landing, and Bart Sibbel had some footage of some fakery done on Apollo 11, which is totally like I mean you could explain it with like with anything like those could be drills or whatever, but like or if the for whatever reason the footage didn't look too good, like whatever. I mean I don't like people don't like talking about that stuff, so anyway, but the person would see 9/11 and then start questioning the moon landing, start questioning NASA, and then from there the shape of the Earth can be questioned, and then from the shape of the Earth, just simple math and observation can show something interesting, and then the beginning of the Bible starts off with Genesis, and it talks about the shape of the water, and like understanding the water, understanding the shape of the water would reflect the shape of the Earth, and then it's basically says that it's flat, and like and it's so funny because it's like just so well the other thing is like if you believe in the flat Earth, then it's stigmatized as like being provincial and not and closed-minded or whatever, and like but on the other hand I think it's actually very open-minded. It's very it, it one of my friends smokes some pot, and like and then when we talk about the flat Earth, like he just jumps right aboard and like thinks about it like kind of like Kurt Cobain, just like I'm on a plane, I can't complain. It's just so funny, and then it's just yeah. So anyway, there's nothing wrong. It shouldn't be. It's just some strange. It's like a Twilight Zone thing where reality is a little bit stranger, and then it's interwoven with like with deception, and it's interesting. It's very, but it's also very simple. Like it doesn't take a whole lot of it doesn't take a whole lot of effort. So anyway, I think that's the end of this video.